Hello and welcome. In this video, we'll be discussing the review of this book that I've been reading that is called entitled The Blade Itself. It is the first book of the First Law trilogy, and in this video, we're going to discuss what I liked about it, what I did not like about it, whether you should pick it or not, my personal rating. And personally, this is going to be a pretty spoiler-free review, so that if you have not read this book yet, and if you are deciding if you should, you can get a pretty good idea by watching this video. So yeah, let's just dive right into it. So this book is often recommended as a must-read grimdark fantasy for those people who actually enjoy this genre. But it is a book that people either really love. By book I mean the series, but I have just read the first book, so I can just comment about that. But overall, series wise, when I was deciding if I should read this book or not, I found out that people either really love this series or they just struggle to get along this book, and they probably mostly just leave it midway without ever completing it. So let's first talk about the positives the things that I really liked, at least in book one, and then we can move forward to the negatives. Firstly, characters are the real highlight. Like, the biggest strength of this book is the characters. No character is perfect, they are very human, each of them having their own flaws. No one is a clear hero, everyone has layers. Like, there are 3 or 4 storylines that are running in parallel, each having its own layer, so you cannot really say which story stands out. Every character has had some suffering or has something bothering them, which really helps us understand the character's mindset, and it's just really good in my opinion. Next thing is that this book is not your standard fantasy book. It is a grimdark fantasy having a bit of dark humor and is not so morally right. So the humor is dry, sarcastic, and often comes from characters making terrible decisions or being painfully self-aware. So if you like dark comedy mixed with fantasy, I'd say this one is for you. Third is the subversion of fantasy tropes. This book intentionally messes with the traditional fantasy expectations. For instance, warriors are noble, wizards are not wise mentors, and honor doesn't really mean that much, which really makes it a bit more realistic as compared to the fantasies that we have seen. It's a bit hard to decide what is pure evil and what is which side is good, which side is bad, since both sides are imperfect and have their own positives and negatives, good and bad. So that is a good thing. And then there is a strong and distinctive voice. You can instantly tell that this is typical Joe's writing. The tone is cynical, sharp, and consistent. Even when not much is happening plot wise, the writing itself keeps things interesting. It keeps you in the loop, and it makes you want to come back to the book, finish the story, and see what's gonna happen. So these were the 4 positives that I had. When I started this series, a friend of mine told me that it's going to be a bit slow in the start, to which I replied that don't worry, I've gone through the Stormlight Archive series, trust me, I'll get through this. So that's the first negative thing that I would want to point out here as well. So because I personally enjoy reading series, I feel like if there is just one book that is a part of the series, then it is a very short story. I don't like short story. I want story to span out across multiple books. But that is not the case for everyone. If you enjoy one book story, if you want a story to end within a book, maybe this series is not for you, since the beginning is very slow. The plot and the development, the progress is really slow, and that's why in the beginning the friction is quite high. I also felt it when I started reading this book, but I think if you have read the Stormlight Archive series, you're not going to feel that it is slow, because the beginning over there was really slow, although the story picked up and it became one of my favorite fantasies ever. But yet to see if this will become one of my favorites. But yeah, the plot is very slow in the beginning, and not much, nothing significant really happens in the context of this book. So I would say that if you don't enjoy slow plots, this book might not be for you, because this book is mostly set up for the story that I'm expecting will pick up pace in the next book. But yeah, if you're expecting big battles, twists, clear storylines, and clear direction of what's going to happen, this book does not tell it. And if you are fine with reading 500 pages of introduction, of setup, then you can pick this up. Otherwise, you'll just bore yourself out while reading and leave it in between. So it's better if you don't pick it up. Next thing is that world building is minimum upfront. The world is not explained in detail early on. You are dropped into it without much context. Like when I was reading some stuff and was figuring out how the world or how the rules work as and when the story was progressing. You don't have much backstory of what morals do they follow, what is the rule, that what is the law, what is the rule. Basically, kind of, you are not given a much context of the time the story is set in. You don't have much context of how it works around over there. You jump straight into the story, and the context is built up as the story progresses, which again, as I said, is not progressing much in the first book. And this book is 500 pages, so 500 pages of setup just a bit falls a bit short, even in my expectations. Then it is not a beginner friendly fantasy. If you are a beginner and you have not read much, then you should probably not pick this book up, because this book needs patience. Like, all the negatives or all the points of, what do you say, the things that take you away from the book are, for me, revolve around the same thing, that the book is very slow. If you have not yet read a lot of fantasies, I would say you can first try reading Eragon. That's a pretty good one. Harry Potter, so I'm assuming you must have read. If not, then start with Harry Potter. Don't pick this up if you are a beginner in reading, because this might not click. It assumes patience and rewards readers who enjoy character studies more than action. So if you enjoy the plot more than action, then you can pick this up. Otherwise, it's better to stick with other fantasies. So coming next, who will enjoy this book? Like, who, in my opinion, can pick this book up or will get a lot out of it, and this might become their favorite as well. So you'll probably love The Blade itself, this book, the first book of the First Law trilogy, if you care more about characters than the plot. Because characters, there are a lot of characters that you will really like, a lot of characters that feel very real, because you sometimes get to know about their thoughts. Like, there is one character, I won't spoil it, but there is one character whose thoughts are continuously mentioned in the book that makes it really good, and I personally enjoy reading that the most. Those who have read the book and the series can probably they'll know that which character I'm talking about. Second, you'll enjoy this book if you enjoy morally grey, cynical storytelling. Like, if you are not that person who wants everything to be morally right, if you are that person who does not feel ki everything should have a happy ending, everything should be according to law, then you can pick this up, because this book is mostly, as I said, it is morally grey and grimdark. So you'll enjoy the book if you enjoy reading things or seeing things, watching things along these lines. You don't mind slow pacing, that is the third point. You'll really like the book if you are fine with the slow pacing, if you don't want action straight on, and you like dark humor, as I said. But you'll struggle if you want fast action, if you expect big payoffs in the first book. Remember, these 500 pages, very little action, very little story-wise things, like very little story-wise progress. There are very few things that you'll enjoy. Enjoy would be a bad word. I'd say there are very few things that lead to some action that might lead you to stick around. So yeah, that's how. And third, if you won't really like this book if you enjoy clean heroes and warriors, because trust me, this book is far away from that. This series in general, I've not yet read the next parts, but from what I have read, it is far from being perfect and morally good. So yeah, that was it, and I think that's it. That's pretty much all I had. So final verdict, I would give that this is a brilliant character-driven fantasy with sharp writing and dark humor. As I have said multiple times in this video itself, it is undeniably slow and feels incomplete on its own. If you expect big results from this first book, you won't like it. If you are fine with slow storytelling, dark humor, being in morally grey area, then this book is for you. Personally, for this particular book, I would give it roughly 7 out of 10, because again, it fell a bit short from my expectations. I'm expecting the series to pick up in the next book, and if it does, the rating of the overall series will definitely be good. But until then, just judging by this first book, by the context of this first book and not by the context of the entire series, I would probably, I'd just stick with my 7 out of 10 rating. And if I have to sum it up in 2-3 words, I would say great foundation, but needs to pick up so that it becomes interesting and it hooks me. So yeah, that's it about this review. I hope you are able to decide now if you want to pick this up or not. If you have any other questions regarding the series of books, just comment down below and I'll enjoy answering them. Till then, goodbye. We'll see you next time.